Welcome everybody to Cooking with Ioannis live. It's the first time that I'm doing this, so I'm really not sure what I'm doing at all. However, we're gonna try and do certain things and have some fun. Now, obviously, you guys, maybe you know what I look like, maybe you don't. Maybe it's not particularly important. The deal is that this is more about what you see being cooked over here as opposed to seeing my ugly face. So I'm going to try and do kind of less visuals of this and more of what we're doing together. So just let me adjust my volume on the computer a little bit, and that's going to be awesome. So hopefully this is going to be a treat for our friends in the replay, because I do realize that the majority of our followers are in the US, and it is perhaps very early in the morning for that at the moment, right? So here's what we're gonna try and do, guys. We're gonna get going. Oh, hang on. I hear some feedback from somewhere. Ha! This is where the feedback's coming from. So I'm supposed to be playing for you guys Nick and D Nimin's nice creator mix music, but it turns out that I was hearing myself through the other computer, which is not cool at all. So what are we gonna do today? We're gonna make kebab pizza. So we're gonna use the leftover kebab bread. Remember all this? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the sort of thing that you get together with your kebab if you're ordering, and they normally bring you this kind of very weird bread that you don't know what to do with. Now, most of the people usually throw this away. However, I thought, since we've got it around, we might as well try and make some food out of it. So wouldn't it be a great idea if we actually use this as a basis for a pizza? Now, the problem with it is that it's normally quite dry, right? And you probably want to do something a little bit better with it, because if you just stick it as it is, it's going to be super dry in your oven. So what I did is just I passed it under the water in the tap for a little bit to give it a little bit of moisture. So you see now it's like more pliable than before, and we can use it as a base for our pizza. Now, how are we going to do this? First, we're going to start with a few tomatoes. Check this out. We have a few tomatoes here. So what we're going to do is slice them and put them on the bread. Now, the difference between doing this live and doing this as a video is that when you're doing it live, you guys actually have to wait while I'm trying to do all this, which may or may not be fun. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things about myself then as we're going through it. All right. Why am I cutting things like this? And you're going to think, isn't this a dangerous thing to do? I would agree with you. This is 100% a dangerous thing to do. And I would not advise that you're just cutting by your hands unless you're absolutely sure what you're doing. Now, the way I do it this way is because I learned from my grandmother. So my grandmother always used to slice all sorts of things like veg and everything using her hands like this. She never used the chopping board. Now, not a tremendously safe thing to do, but there was a reason why she was doing it this way. The reason is she didn't have adequate space. So if you don't have adequate space on your shelves that you can do these things, then it's not going to work very well. So you have to try and make do with whatever is available, which in our case is our hands. But now check this out. There seems to be a lot of juice flowing all over the place, right? So you might be thinking, oh, this doesn't look like a great idea, because if we have so much juice sloshing, it's going to make our pizza base very, very wet. But this is not going to happen. And you know why? Because this bread was so dry to begin with. So we don't have to worry about it getting tremendously wet. Now, next stage, because we want to give it this a little bit of spice, these are some pickled peppers. I love those. These are the sort of things that you normally get in a kebab shop or something. Now, again, these are relatively wet, and they've got a good deal of juice in them. But again, as I said, because we started off with a fairly dry bread, we don't have to worry about our base getting very wet. So we're gonna slice a few of those on top. It's gonna give it a nice bit of a kick, a good deal of spice. So there we go. Maybe we don't want all these seeds in here. So hang on a second. This is such an easy thing to do. And it's actually cost effective because you manage to enjoy the nice kebab that you got the other day. And now you also get to enjoy something with the bread and you're not throwing it away. So it basically, your kebab has fed your family for 2 days. And since these things are getting a little bit more pricey now, I think it's a good idea to do it this way. And I always love, it's not the recycling, but I also love reusing the stuff that I've got available. So there we go. We put our peppers in there. So we've got our tomato on the base and we've got our spicy peppers on the top. Now we're going to follow this up with a few onions. I've got a red onion here. If you can find onions that are not very spicy, this works a little bit better. These ones are fairly mild. So otherwise I was gonna start crying when I do this, but trust me, these are fairly mild here. So perhaps not too much. Maybe we can put a bit on the top as well after. So check this out. So sprinkle a bit of onion on the top. Right? Does that look nice? And now a little bit of pepper, just to give it again a little bit of taste, a little bit of a crunch, and a little bit of color. Now we don't want the top, we don't want the whole pepper, so we're just gonna do some fairly chunky cuts here. Again, I'm cutting not using a chopping board, just using my hands. I do not recommend it, but I haven't yet figured out how to do multiple cameras. I'm probably gonna have to use some software if I want to do multiple camera feeds. By the way, I apologize about the lighting. I realize this is coming a little bit bleached out, but hopefully you guys can adequately see what I'm doing. So I put some red pepper there, and I'm gonna follow up with a bit of green pepper as well. So we've got wonderful colors shining through. So you see, this is building up. Now, what we're doing here so far is that if we wanted to have like a vegetarian pizza, we could finish this with a little bit of cheese and we could leave it at that, right? Or actually, you know what? If you guys want to have like a nice vegan pizza, you could either leave it as it is, put a little bit of oil, sprinkle a bit of olive oil on the top, some oregano and pepper, and stick it straight in the oven, and that would give you a very nice vegan medley. But today we're going for something with meat inside. So we're going to now add some meat. Now, what's that going to be? I have to go to the oven and get it, to the fridge and get it. If it was already in the oven, that would have been a great idea. So there we go. What we got here is, they call this ham trimmings. You see this? Oh, sorry. It's a bit bleached out. So these are just pieces of ham. These are very cheap to buy. You can get them in most supermarkets because they're not the prime cuts of ham that they do in slices that they sell people. And because they're in bits and pieces, they sell them a lot cheaper. So that way, you can get all these nice bits of ham at a very affordable price, and you can load your pizza with them. Check this out. And you can load it with this beautiful ham, and you're leaving this up here. And now is the Greek part, because if we didn't have feta cheese, this wouldn't be a Greek dish now, would it? So the way we're making this into a Mediterranean pizza is by sticking in, hi Jerry, is by sticking in a little bit of feta cheese. So Jerry there in the chat has just joined. Jerry is one of my Twitter and YouTube friends. I try to go to his live streams whenever I get the chance, but because we're in radically different time zones and radically different locations, this is not always possible. So thank you very much, Jerry, for turning up today to support me. I really appreciate it. You know what? I wish I could do more of these things, but obviously, when the family is around, it's very difficult to kind of commandeer the kitchen for that sort of thing. So I'm trying to find dates when I'm home alone, as they say. Now, you could argue that I should be working instead of doing this, but trust me, I've been working since very early in the morning. So in case any of my bosses are watching this is not me trying to avoid work. This is me taking a break and doing something for my friends. So there we go. We got a good sprinkling of feta cheese on top of this. Now, depending on your preferences, you could put other types of cheese in here. Now, what I like to do is that I like to keep things a little bit more Mediterranean, and that's why I'm focused on the feta. And because I'm Greek, I have to have feta with everything. It's one of these things. It's a non-negotiable cultural item. So what have we done so far? We started with the leftover kebab bread, put a little bit of water on it to drizzle it a bit to make it a little bit softer. We layered it with tomatoes. We put a little bit of onion. We put some multicolored peppers on the top, layered the chunks of ham that we had, and then layered the top with feta cheese. Oh, and I shouldn't forget the spicy peppers that we used in there. What we should do now is put a little bit of black pepper. I mean, that depends on your preference, because you can go crazy with this stuff, but probably you shouldn't. And crucial, absolutely crucial ingredient, oregano. I get this oregano from my mom. Every time I go to Greece, I come back with a bag full of oregano. And actually, my mom is not on this stream. I thought she would be, but Mom, I will remember this, that you were not there for my first stream. I'm very disappointed, but I'm still using your oregano. So there we go, oregano. And, shall we put a little bit more onion on top? What do you think? Yes, I agree with Jerry there. It is not Greek unless it's got onions, feta, and oregano. Ha, 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 ha. No, you're not going to catch me out, Jerry. I did recently publish a video that said the Greeks don't eat French fries. I thought this was super controversial. And in fact, it was, because everybody on Facebook started telling me, of course the Greeks eat fries. We eat fries with everything. But this is not the point I was trying to make. I was trying to make the point that there are alternatives to fries in Greek cooking. And as a kid, I was having more of these oven potatoes other than this. Actually, it's a good point. I'm going to stick a link to that potatoes video down in the description when you guys are watching the replay, so you can have a look at that one and tell me, if you were Greek, would you be eating fries or would you be eating that thing? Okay, so we seem to have everything that we need here. So, boom. The last thing we're going to do is, again, because we're Greek and we have to do this, we have to sprinkle on top olive oil. And because we don't have a wet tomato sauce, we need something to bind everything together. So sprinkling a little bit of olive oil. Okay, you could argue a lot. That depends on your persuasion. Sprinkling a little bit of olive oil on the top is what's going to help bring it together. So what we're going to do now is stick it in the oven. You see how easy this is? How long have we been here, ladies and gentlemen? This stream has gone on for almost 14 minutes, and we're already done. So we took our bread, we took our base veg, we mixed everything on top, we put our feta cheese on the top, we put our condiments, we put our oregano and everything else, crucially our ham, and we are ready to go in the oven. And check this out, magic trick. I've got my special time machine here, so I'm gonna do this. Whoosh. And whoosh. See? This is me thinking ahead, because I thought people are not gonna wait for the 20-25 minutes this takes to cook. People will want to eat. So there we go. This is one we made earlier, as they say on TV. And this is the finished product. And I have to tell you, it is lovely. And I would recommend this sauce. I don't know, actually, I cannot show you the brand, right? But this sauce is called Algerienne. and is a sort of Middle Eastern flavored sauce with a bit of ketchup and a bit of mayonnaise and a bit of harissa. Very nice. Not tremendously spicy, but it just gives it a bit of a kick. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give it a sprinkle of this nice sauce, and it is ready to serve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. This is our leftover kebab pizza, Mediterranean style, produced live to you by Cooking with Ioannis. This is something you can do at home anytime. If you want to watch a video with a bit of a better description of how we came about this and the list of ingredients, this is linked down in the description. I would like to thank Jerry for turning up. I would like to thank all of you for being in the stream with us today and watching on the replay. And if you guys like this, then next time the kids are out of the house, I'm going to try and do another one. And now, on that note, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining, and see you next time.